Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Forza Horizon 5 to take a look at another brand new addition to the Forza series, which is the all-new McLaren Artura. As with most new additions to the game, it's available for completing 20 points in this week's festival playlist, which is the summer season, which as you can see I've done by doing the trial, one of Joe C's incredible Event Lab creations, the treasure hunt, the photo challenge, and of course the two monthly rivals. This month they're in the brand new Ford Raptor R and Ford Mustang, which we'll be able to win in the overall series by completing asphalt and off-road races throughout the next 4 weeks. Whereas all previous models made under McLaren Automotive, starting with the MP412C, have all been fitted with a 4-litre V8, the brand new Artura is actually a departure from this tradition, making use of an all-new, much smaller 3-litre V6 instead, which is of course coupled to a hybrid system. It does though, in combination with that, produce a very much not small 670 horsepower and 720 torques. And unfortunately though, it means it's relatively heavy compared to the older models, weighing in at over 1.5 tons. And whilst it was of course fast, just reaching 200 down the main straight on my custom track, it didn't feel overly fast, or terribly exciting to drive compared to other similar supercars, even in Forza. Like all other McLarens, the Artura is of course still rear-wheel drive, and overall it's rated in S1 class at 860 from standard in Horizon 5. As well as this rather nice metallic red colour, the Artura is available in a selection of manufacturer paints. There's also this very nice blue, of course the papaya orange, black, grey, and let's ignore that and paint it in this rather lovely McLaren orange. In terms of upgrades, it's not too bad either. There are a couple of engine swaps. There's a V10 from a Lamborghini, and there's a 4-litre V8 twin-turbo from the McLaren Senna. There's also an all-wheel drive conversion, although I don't think that's really what McLarens are supposed to be like, so let's not do that. The front aero isn't as terrible as it could be, with no tow hook, and the rear aero has a couple of McLaren options. It's got these little lip thingies, which are a bit weird, the full GT4 wing, and let's ignore that. But I think the GT4 wing's actually rather cool, so for now, let's put that on the car. And apart from that, it's as you would expect. You've got your usual tyre compounds, tyre widths, track widths, your usual drivetrain options, platform and handling options, and engine options. I will just quickly check. If we take full weight reduction, we get it down to 1,294 kilos, which is a decent saving actually. So as the McLaren was in S1 to begin with, and I don't really enjoy S1 online racing particularly, I find it a bit too fast, instead I just made it into a kind of cool track car to have a bit of a mess around with in a tuned configuration, essentially giving it the GT4 rear wing, the Forza front aero to make it sort of a GT4 car plus, giving it some slicks and weight reduction and race suspension and things like that you'd expect in the racing car, but obviously leaving it with the stock power, including the hybrid powertrain, which of course you wouldn't get in the real life GT4 car. And it was, after this, a lot of fun to drive around my racetrack again, although it did suffer a little bit from understeer, but I kind of prefer my cars to be more that way than oversteery, so I actually really enjoyed setting another lap round here in the Artura. Probably not the fastest thing in the world, but yeah, I really enjoyed it with this minimal set of kind of GT4 style inspired upgrades. As I was rather enjoying the little set of upgrades that I had put on the McLaren, I decided to take it up the Vulcan hill climb just to see what it would do. And yes, the time is a little bit irrelevant because it's right in the middle of the class at 923 pi, but the McLaren Artura set a 240.883 on the Vulcan hill climb, which probably isn't the fastest in the world, but it was a lot of fun to drive up here as well. And that is going to do it for a first look at the brand new McLaren Artura here on Forza Horizon 5. A cool car to finally have in the game, although admittedly I'm not entirely sold on the V6 hybrid over the V8 thing, if it adds that much weight. But I do think it's a very good looking car, particularly as they've given us the option to put some GT4 components on it, which is always a lot of fun. And although it's a bit too fast to put upgrades on and then use competitively in a class that I would still enjoy, it was a lot of fun lapping it around my circuit with these kind of GT4 inspired upgrades, even if it did have a bit more power than the race car of course would have. As ever, do let me know your thoughts on this brand new addition to Forza Horizon 5, but for today's video that is going to be all, so thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next one very soon.